Hello and welcome to another Stamp with Amy K video out here on Facebook Live. I'm just double checking that everything is working well on Facebook, and once I get that done and can see that we're live, then I will go ahead and get rolling with the card we're going to make today. So it looks like everything is good to go, so if you stop in, definitely say hi. I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions along the way, let me know. I'm happy to answer anything. So all right, today I was going to show you real quickly how it is that I did this sentiment with the Stamparatus, which is a new tool that is going to be coming out from Stampin' Up! Very soon. A couple of us got our hands on it a little early, part of the team that helped to design the tool, so some of us have it a little early, but it does sound like, from what I understand, the first round of reserved Stamparatus tools should be shipping out somewhere around February 21st, and then the second round, if you were lucky enough to get in on that one, those should start shipping out somewhere around the 19th of March, and the second reservation window is going to go a little bit longer as far as the shipment dates. I don't know anything beyond the 19th of March, but I know they're going to be shipping out kind of as they arrive in the warehouse. So hopefully, if you were lucky enough to get in on the reservations, you're going to have yours very soon too. And if not, this tool will be available in the upcoming catalog starting on June 1st from Stampin' Up! So, all right, let's get back to it. The card that we're making today, again, is this one. I used the Truly Tailored stamp set and a little bit of the True Gentleman Designer Series paper. Excuse me. So I also used a True Gentleman button on here, so kind of used the whole, quite a bit out of the product suite, which I really like it. Good morning, Karen. How are you? All right. So to get set up in your Stamparatus, the Stamparatus actually has two plates, and it's designed so that you can stick one plate up on top and use it for stamping up this way. But obviously we're only using one image today, so we don't need that. And then, oh, going in late to work so you can watch me, Karen? That's okay. That's awesome. I'm not going to complain at all. So there's also a little foam pad that comes inside here that's you can use with your photopolymer stamp sets in the Stamparatus, but since we're using one that is actually a clear mount and it's got the foam under it already, we don't need the black pad for this one. So let's go ahead and get set up. Starting with a piece of very vanilla cardstock, and the size on it doesn't necessarily matter. I think this one's 5 1/4 by 4 1/2 or something like that, but that doesn't really matter so much. The Stamparatus has two of these bar magnets, and you definitely don't want to put them anywhere close together because they will jump together and slam together and probably break. So hey Patricia, how are you? Thanks for hopping on. So, so be careful if you get your Stamparatus to make sure that you're not putting these two magnets close enough together that they'll break, because it sounds like several people have had that happen, and I don't want that to happen to you. So at this point, I've been able to get by with only using one magnet at a time, and that's my plan that I'm going to stick with for the time being until I need to have two magnets, and then we'll see how it works. So we're using the Wishing You a Dapper Day sentiment from the True Gentleman stamp set. And how I set up my Stamparatus is I just put the stamp face down where I want it to be, then flip the Stamparatus closed, pick up the stamp, and open it. Good morning, Arlene. How are you? And then the next thing we're going to do, because as you saw on my card, the sentiment is actually inked up in 3 different colors, I used a little bit of the Post-it note tape to mask over the color as I was inking it up. So I just took a little strip of Post-it note tape, covered up the top part of the sentiment that I didn't want inked in Night of Navy. Got out my Night of Navy ink pad, inked up. Sorry, hopefully this isn't banging around the camera too much. I'm trying to be a little gentle. Inked up my sentiment, peeled this off, and I set this way aside, like in my trash can aside, because I'm notorious for setting it down on something white and then all of a sudden you got blue ink all over everything, because that doesn't dry immediately. So take that, flip it over, so you've got your initial sentiment stamped. Then we're going to ink up the middle sentiment, and I'm just going to take this, cover it with the Post-it note tape, cover the little mustache piece with the Post-it note tape, and get my Tranquil Tide ink pad. That's what I use for the second color. Ink up that part of the sentiment. Peel off the Post-it note tape and get it out of my way so I don't stick it to anything. Flip it closed. And there you got the second color on there. And then the final piece is the little mustache. You can cover the whole sentiment if you feel like you need to. I just used a little piece so that I wouldn't get it all over the area close to it, and then just kept the ink pad away from the lower part of the sentiment. The other nice thing with the Stamparatus is if you do have a spot that doesn't get inked quite as well, you can always go back and restamp it, and it'll stamp in the exact same place. So, all right, we got our mustache. So, all three of them look pretty good to me on here. I have the absorber, which is actually a Karen's asking, will you be able to purchase my Stamparatus? If you got one reserved, the purchases should start on the 19th, or I'm sorry, the 21st of February is the first round. The second round is going to start shipping out around the 19th of March. If you didn't get on the reservation period, then you're going to have to wait till June 1st when the catalog goes live, and you will be able to purchase it then. So hopefully you got in on the reservation period. I'm not sure if you did or not. I don't have any way of knowing who's got them reserved and who doesn't. So if you did reserve it and have questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer. So I think I started to talk about my absorber, which is actually a car chamois, but it works fantastically on cleaning stamps. And it works great with the Stamparatus, because if you want to clean the stamp in between times, you can just take it, leave the stamp in place, wipe it off with the chamois, and it's just water that's on it. It also cleans up any ink that you get accidentally anywhere else on your Stamparatus. So just water, so there's nothing harmful for the stamps in it, which is awesome. So let me get this stamp up and out of the way. Get the Stamparatus put away or set aside. And Stamparatus does have a spot on the back for storing the magnets, which is nice, and they're stored far away from each other, so you don't have to worry about them smacking together. So, oh, Karen, you got in on the first reservation. That's awesome. It should, from what I am seeing and hearing, the latest update we have is that the 21st of February, they are going to start shipping or start putting those into orders for customers and demonstrators. Whoever got in on the first round of reservations, you should be able to get your order. You will get an email from Stampin' Up! Saying that they have put an item in your shopping basket, and once you get that, you can go log into your Stampin' Up! Account, and you should see the Stamparatus out there sitting in your shopping basket. You can add anything else that you want to it and purchase anything. But the Stamparatus will be there, and then you're just going to check out like you normally do. You can add a host code, you can add other items, you can bump it up to high enough to get a celebration item, whatever. So starting the 21st, I have my fingers crossed that that's the date, because that's the latest update I've heard, and that since it's only a couple days away, I'm hopeful that it's going to be the case, that the 21st will be the day. So I am using one of the layering ovals framelits dies to cut out my sentiment. And again, I know I apologize, this is going to shake the camera a little bit. I'll try to be as gentle as I can. Get that part done. Set all this aside and get my big shot out of the way. Then all that we have left is assembling the card and doing the inside. So I switched it up. This one, I used a little bit of the plaid paper on. I decided the bow ties were for the day today. So we're doing bow ties instead of plaid. So putting a little snail on the back of it. This is cut to 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, but again, that's all out on my blog this morning, so you can go take a peek out there if you have any questions about it. Stampwithamyk.com, and you'll see it as the main blog post today. And I'm sticking it on Night of Navy cardstock, which is cut to 4 by 5 1/4. Then I'm going to add in the little strips. This is cut to 1/2 inch by 3 3/4, yep. And for the sketch challenge that I worked with today, a little bit of it hung over the edge, so I'm doing that again. Got a little soft suede cardstock, and this is Tranquil Tide. I feel like these might be a little longer than 3 3/4. Maybe I cut them to 4. Anyway, no matter. The instructions are out there on my website, so whatever size I cut them to, that's what's listed out there. So All right, a little bit of snail on the back of the sentiment, and I pre-cut an oval from one of the, or with the next size up solid oval from Night of Navy cardstock with the layering ovals framelits dies. Sticking it together with a little bit of snail, adding a couple little Stampin' Dimensionals to the back. And I think I've told you before, but I cut my Stampin' Dimensionals in half because half of it sticks just as well as a full one does. I don't know, I like the way the half ones fit better on a lot of things. So I think we got this on here where I want it. Last thing I did on the card front was I added a little bit of the linen thread, which I'm down to the very last little bit of my linen thread. And I don't know if you get little bumpies in your linen thread, have trouble with that, but just take your thumb and run it down, and that gets rid of the little bumpies. Use one of the True Gentleman buttons, and we'll do a little different one this time. So I'm going to use a little bigger one instead. Did a little linen thread. Hey, thanks Sharon, thanks for hopping on, and thanks for, glad you're liking my card today. So I like doing masculine cards because generally they're pretty clean and simple. At least that's how I do mine. Not a lot of frills and a lot of stuff on them, which is kind of nice. I'm going to trim off some of this. This is way too long. All right. Just a quick bow, hopefully quick bow. Like I said, I can tie bows like crazy when I'm off screen, but for some reason when I'm on camera, my fingers don't want to work right, and then I can't get the bow tied, and then you all think that I'm the worst bow tire ever. Usually I find if I do a really big loop, it works better, but sometimes it just doesn't work better no matter what I do. All right, starting to make it look like a bow now. And I guess I probably should have tied it in a knot since it's a masculine card, but oh well, a bow works too. So trim off a little of the extra tails here. And then I'm going to use a glue dot. Oop, that's my last glue dot too, so apparently I'm down to the bottom of everything today. Guess I got to pull out my reserves, stick a little glue dot on the back, add it to my card front here. I think the tails are still probably a little bit long for what I want, so I'm going to trim those down just a little bit more. A couple more Stampin' Dimensionals to put on the back. And just so you know, all these products, with the exception of the Stamparatus, unless you happen to get yours reserved, the stamp set that I'm using, the dies that I used, the paper that I'm using, all that stuff is available out on my website. You can get there on my Stampin' Up! Online store. You can get there through my blog. Go to stampwithamyk.com, and you'll see on the right-hand sidebar there's a little Shop With Me Now button. If you click on that, that takes you right to my online store. All right, so we got the front of the card done, and now we're going to flip it over and do the inside really quick. And I tend to keep those pretty clean and simple as well. So I had pulled out the Perennial Birthday stamp set, which is another good one. That's in the Occasions catalog right now. And I'm using this Happy Birthday sentiment from it. And we're going to do a little Night of Navy for the sentiment. And hopefully I will stamp it straight. If not, there's always the other side of the paper. That looks pretty straight. And then I'm going to use a little Tranquil Tide ink and ink up the bow tie, which I don't know if you've seen it. There's a little bow tie that's actually in the Truly Tailored stamp set. So there's a cute little bow tie in there that works well with the bow ties that I've got going on the front of the card today. So get that lined up and hopefully straight. I think I did it. And then we're just going to adhere it to the inside. A little bit of snail. I don't know why I'm such a bad driver with snail, but I can't make that stuff go straight. Hopefully I'm not the only one that has that problem. All right, sticking it on the inside, getting everything lined up. Inside of the card, all done. Outside is all done. And there you go. So we've got two cards. A little different look on both of them. Similar, but a little bit different. So let me know if you have any questions. And thanks so much for stopping by and taking a peek at my video. I'm happy to answer anything. I'll hang on for a second. And if anybody has any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, if you have questions, I will keep an eye on my Facebook page too. So Thanks for joining me this morning, and thanks so much for your nice comments, and hopefully we'll chat again soon.